You were always there. Every time she called, you picked up. Every time she needed something, you showed up. Every time there was silence, you filled it. You thought that was love. You thought that was friendship. You thought being available meant being valued. It didn't. This is the story of a girl named Rhea. Rhea was the kind of person who made everyone around her feel like they mattered. She remembered birthdays. She checked in first. She stayed up late to help a friend through a crisis and woke up early to make sure they were okay. She was never too busy, never too tired, never too anything. And for a long time, she believed this was her greatest strength. Her closest friend, Priya, had known Rhea since they were teenagers. Priya would call at midnight with problems. Rhea would answer. Priya would cancel plans last minute. Rhea would reschedule without complaint. Priya would forget to ask how Rhea was doing. Rhea would assume she was just preoccupied. Rhea never said anything. She told herself that real friendship didn't keep score, that real love was unconditional, that showing up without being asked was the most meaningful thing a person could offer. And so she kept giving, quietly, consistently, without asking for anything in return. Then one afternoon, Rhea got a job offer in another city. It wasn't planned. She almost didn't apply. But she did, and they chose her. And suddenly there was a decision in front of her that she had never imagined making. She told Priya over coffee. She expected some reaction, some acknowledgement that this would change things, some conversation about what their friendship meant. Instead, Priya smiled briefly and said, "That's exciting, so what are you going to do?" Not, "I'll miss you." Not, "This place won't be the same." Just a question that felt strangely empty. Rhea went home that evening and sat quietly with that feeling. Something had shifted. Not in the world, in her understanding of it. She thought about the past 3 years. How many times she had been the first to reach out. How many times she had adjusted her life to fit someone else's schedule. How many times she had swallowed her own needs to protect someone else's comfort. And now, on the edge of leaving, there was almost no reaction at all. Psychologist Roy Baumeister spent decades studying how people assign value to relationships and social bonds. What he found again and again was that humans rarely recognize what they have until the possibility of losing it becomes real. Not imagined, real. This is not cruelty, it is psychology. The mind is wired to take stability for granted. When something is consistently present, always available, always reliable, the brain begins to process it as permanent, as guaranteed, as background. It stops feeling like a gift. It starts feeling like furniture. Rhea had, without realizing it, made herself background. Robert Cialdini, in his research on influence and human behavior, identified scarcity as one of the most powerful forces that shapes how people perceive value. When something becomes rare, difficult to access, or potentially gone forever, people suddenly feel its worth in a way they never did when it was abundant. The same principle that governs limited edition products and closing time decisions also governs people. Rhea had never been scarce. She had always been there. And what is always there is rarely cherished. But here is what most people misunderstand about this truth. The lesson is not to become cold. It is not to play games, to withhold love artificially, or to make people chase you for the sake of watching them try. The lesson is something quieter and more honest than that. Rhea accepted the job, not to teach Priya a lesson, not to prove a point, not to see if she would be missed. She accepted it because for the first time in years, she asked herself a question she had been avoiding. What do I actually want? Not what does everyone else need from me? Not how can I make this easier for the people around me? But what do I want? For my own life, for my own future. And the answer surprised her with how clear it was. The week before she left, something changed in Priya. She started calling more. She started asking questions about Rhea's life, her plans, her feelings. She showed up at Rhea's apartment with dinner one evening, something she had never done in 3 years of friendship. She said quietly over the kitchen table that she was going to miss her more than she knew how to say. Rhea looked at her and felt 2 things at once: gratitude and a deep, settled clarity. She understood now that Priya had always cared. She had simply never been given a reason to show it. Not because she was a bad person, but because she, like most people, needed the possibility of loss before she could feel the presence of value. Carol Dweck's research on mindset and self-worth shows that people who define their value through how much they give often end up in relationships where that giving becomes invisible. The more reliably generous you are, the more your generosity becomes assumed, not celebrated. Assumed. This is not a reason to stop being generous. It is a reason to stop expecting that constant availability will ever generate the kind of appreciation you are hoping for. Ria had confused being needed with being valued. They are not the same thing. Being needed means people rely on you. Being valued means people recognize what it would mean to lose you. On the morning she left, Priya hugged her at the door for a long time. And Ria realized something she would carry with her long after the city disappeared in the rearview mirror. She had not changed who she was. She had not become less kind, less warm, less generous. She had simply stopped making herself infinitely available as a substitute for knowing her own worth. And in that one shift, something in the people around her had shifted too. Not because she had manipulated anyone, but because the truth had finally had enough space to breathe. People often do not know what they have until it is almost gone. That is not your failure to be appreciated. That is the quiet, uncomfortable reality of how human beings assign value. The question is never whether you deserve to be valued. The question is whether you have ever given anyone the experience of what life looks like without you. Ria had spent years being everything to everyone. The day she finally chose herself was the day everyone finally saw her.